Is your last name spelt Pearce as in Pearce?
Yes. Well, it's a double last name, Tyson dash
Yeah,
Pearce.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
My last name is Pearce, spelled exactly the same way.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we're cousins.
Maybe separated at birth. You know, I'm the, you know, the episode of The Simpsons where Bart's got Hugo, the twin that lives in the attic. You know, the
No, I don't think I've seen any of that.
Yeah. Okay, go watch that. I'm your Hugo. I'm the mutant one that lives in the attic. But my name's Nev anyway, dude. It's great to have you on the show.
Yes, thanks for having me.
No worries, man. No worries. Well, of course, you're coming to Australia for a run of shows with Sylosis this February, which is gonna be nuts, man. So many people I know are so keen for this. This is your first Australian tour, right?
Yes, this is our first Australian tour. Our new vocalist, Ian, he has been to Australia before with his previous band, so he knows what to expect. But as for the rest of us, we have not touched Australia yet.
Man, you're in for a surprise.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm quite excited. Like, there's any place that I would like to just travel in the world next, it would be Australia.
Have you got time? I know it's usually the tours are like bang, bang, bang straight through, but have you got time either side to sort of
Not really. No, I wish we had a little bit more time and we were going to spend maybe like an extra day or two, like when the tour ends in Perth. But now we've got shows booked in Istanbul, Turkey, and Athens, Greece, which I'm very excited for. But unfortunately, we don't get to see much of Australia. We might have time to go to the zoo.
Hmm, usually
That's about it.
usually up here there's a place that I think it's called Lone Pine. That's where they take all the bands and they get their koala photo, and then that's
Yeah, I think that's where we're going.
awesome, man. Awesome. Have you toured with Sylosis guys before or played shows with them?
No, we have not.
Man,
No, no shows at all before, and now this tour. Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Like it seems like you guys have been breaking a lot of ground over the last year or so. Like lots of big things seem to be happening for you. It's pretty cool.
Indeed, yeah. There's a lot of monumental things happening for us right now.
Man, it must be awesome. Do you know what it was that sort of changed? What sort of shifted? Because you've been doing it a long time, which is usually with bands, they say it's the 10-year rule. You know what I mean? You bust your ass and then for some reason the floodgates open and that's when the big opportunities start. What can you pinpoint when that sort of happened for you?
Like when, well, yes. So when we did our first US tour back in 2017,
Mm,
we just went around, scooted around in our little van and did, yeah, a full US tour. And we had headlined that tour. And we actually had a positive response for like a first little headliner because we're from Canada and doing the US was like a new market for us. But on that first tour, we got recognition from people who are from like different record labels, like Sumerian Records, and they had Summer Slaughter, which is a tour that happens every year. And the next year after that was the Black Dahlia Murders 10-year like nocturnal album um, cycle
mm,
tour, So we got on that tour because, well, we knew the people in Sumerian and they put us on this voting list, but then we were off the voting list. I'm not really sure what was going on with that. And we ended up winning the votes to go on this tour as an opening band. We only had a 20-minute set, so we played 4 songs and we had to get off the stage super quick. But that tour like whipped us into shape and it was like a breakthrough tour for us. And then after that, just many more things of higher calibers started coming our way. Like we've got on 2 tours where Lorna Shore was on, and that was that I think really accelerated our growth as
mm.
well.
That's awesome, man. That's so good. Of course, You mentioned before you're on tour now with the Black Dahlia boys and Spite and
Hmm.
Dying Fetus. That is awesome. What a fucking lineup, man. That's so we don't it's rare we get that stuff down here in Australia, but what is that tour like? Is it pretty hectic, pretty full on?
Honestly, I'm going to say this is one of the most easygoing tours. Like everybody's just nice, no conflict, no drama. Everybody's doing their bit, and it's just a very fun environment to be with all these bands, and we're all hanging out. It's nice to spend a little bit of time with the Black Dahlia boys because we kind of got to know them from the Summer Slaughter tour. But for the most part on tour, a lot of bands like keep to themselves, but we're actually doing well, like as a tight knit group.
And those dates, I did see it. It's pretty crazy because I don't know. In Australia here, everything is so far apart that a tour for us is like
Mm.
5 dates. But over there, a tour is like 30 dates all crammed into one.
Hmm.
Like, how do you keep yourself going? Like, how do vocally and all the logistics and everything like that? It just seems crazy to me.
I feel like I could really go down a rabbit hole with this one, but I'll give you like the clip notes that I would have. First and foremost, stay hydrated.
Mm,
Drinking enough water is key, especially if you're going to be doing vocals every day. Warm up properly every day. Cool down. Listen to your body. Don't overdo it. Stay away from alcohol. That's a huge one for the vocal cords.
yeah, that's
Um, don't agitate it all the time. Like don't try to cough all day every day if you can get away with it. Things like that. Just little bits of maintenance that keep it going, and then you just take it one day at a time, and then by the end of it, you're like, oh wow, it's already over.
do you
It's,
do you run in ears?
yes, yeah, we run in ears now, all of us.
Have you found that that's helped you as well?
No, not me personally. I will not have the helpfulness of in ears. And Ian, he had never ran in ears before this tour, and he feels very mutual about it in terms of how I feel.
Yeah,
Um, and that's when you're screaming with in ears, if you don't have the proper molded ones, that which both him and I currently do not. I had some, but I got them stolen from me, and that's a whole other story.
shit.
Um, but it was nice with those, but still running in ears and doing vocals, it's like when you plug your ears and you scream, you get that resonance in your head.
Yeah,
So it's very hard not to get the resonance. And in order to combat that resonance, you have to turn up whatever is in your pack, like the back tracks, the click tracks that you have in your ears. Ends up being louder than as if you were just listening to it without.
there you go.
Yeah.
I'm going through that right now. I'm
Oh,
moving
really?
over to in ears right now, and it's crazy. It's I'm used to I've spent 20 years, you know, screaming on loud stages, but I'm getting older, so it's getting harder to hear everything. So it's like I've got to do something, but it's instead of me being here, I'm right here, and it's weird. I don't know.
It
I don't know how the fuck this
is
works,
weird.
man.
And the big thing that Ian and I both don't really like about running in ears is it's very hard to get like the EQ proper for vocals within the in-ear mix, and like you can turn up the gain and make it sound like how it would to the front of house.
Yep.
But for the most part, it just sounds very mid-range frequencies and very dry. So you don't know if you're doing your lows properly because it requires a lot of finesse. The same with highs.
Yep.
And you don't know if you're just overdoing it a little much because it just sounds very mid in the ears. But you just have to trust the process and get used to it. And by now I'm used to it and I can understand if I'm doing something
Hmm.
too much. But you really have to like go inside and like do what you're saying. Feel like you're in here.
You've explained a shit ton to me then. Like I thought that was just me. I was like, am I doing this wrong? Am I just deaf and old? Is it just the EQ's not right? And they're like, you don't need EQ. It's like, see, I told you. I know. I'm going to show this to the other boys, and they're going to be like, they're going to be, I told you. What about when it comes to things like on those big runs, running out of merch? Like, how does that even work? Like, do you have certain points along the way where you can get more merch done, or
Yes.
how's that
A
work?
lot of it requires just strategy and looking at like previous numbers, sales, like where the high
Hmm.
selling points are, and maybe this city wants more hoodies than this city they want more shorts. You know, you go down to Florida and nobody's buying hoodies because it's just always hot. So we kind of strategize where we're gonna go. We go through Indie Merch right now, and they have like a distribution company out of like Cleveland, Ohio. So they will send us like a first package if our tour say starts in like Los Angeles, then they'll ship it all the way across the country, and we'll get a massive shipment to start around, let's say, 30 boxes of merch. And then we'll have the next one in like 7 days, next one in another 5 days, and just strategically lay it out as we go. And sometimes we have a little bit too much of one thing, but you just learn as you go. And for the most part now, I think we have it down to a science where we like don't have much leftover merch at the end of the tour and everything's like equally sold.
That's awesome, man. That's super interesting. I know it's at a yeah, it's just business talk, but that's super interesting to me how it works over there. Because as I said here, where everything you'll find like everything's so spaced. Getting from city to city, you'll be like, man, how the fuck do these Australians? There's nothing. There's like a city, and then nothing, and then city. You know, you you're in for a shock, dude. You're in for a big shock.
I would love to just be in like a van or a bus and just drive in Australia, but unfortunately we're flying every day. Apparently it's cheaper for all of us to fly from show to show and get hotels.
Mm, man.
Seems a little much for me. I'm not one for using too much jet fuel, but alas, I'll give it a go. I'd rather see like this desolate countryside, like I want to see like Queensland in the north and all of that. Do the drive from like Sydney to Perth. I would love that, but I can't say the other boys. But
It's a long trip, man. We did a run earlier this year, and it was 20 hours in a van just for a few shows, small handful of shows. That's a whole week of stuff for you. But hey, man, it would be fun. Hey, you should just come down and hang out sometime. But you've
love
also
it.
you mentioned before you got Ian, who has joined as co-vocalist. Both you together sound incredible. I've seen like a
Thank
little bit of foot. Man, how's it been working together?
Oh, it's been an absolute dream. Ian's the greatest, man. He is a very respectful, very reserved, very wise and modest sir, and it's nice to just like be in his presence. And he doesn't miss vocally, and he's got way more than he's just delivering on the new song that we just recorded, released, relinquished. He's
Yes.
got a lot more tricked up his sleeve in the days to come here. Um, but yeah, he's an animal as vocalist. It's an honor working with him, honestly.
How's that work creatively though? Did you guys sit down together to work on, being that it's the new sort of he's come into the band to sort of work out the way each other write. Did you sit down together, take some time to to write the
We
song together, or how's that work?
we had a couple like video calls because he lives in Pennsylvania, like in the backwoods out in Amish country, and I live on the west coast of Canada. So I'm on a small little island. He's way over there, so we can communicate very well online. But for this record, it was kind of a little different because we had it like half written before, and then I just rewrote about 8 songs, and then he did 3 songs, and it worked out within that time frame. We both like amalgamated our ideas together, but he predominantly made 3 songs on this next record, and I made about 8 of them. But we would go back and forth in the studio and maybe tweak this here and there, and it was very easygoing to do that process with Ian. He's got a really creative mind. Like I am really stoked for people to see what he has written personally and what he's coming out with.
Has working with him maybe unlocked some creativity in you that you haven't tapped into before?
It's a good question. I think so, yes. That's the short answer. Mostly in like patterns and visualization and like yeah, just painting the picture lyrically.
That's cool. And you said record. not single.
Yes, I did.
No, there's
Did
a
record.
little something, something. Man. So, when is there a timeline? Are you, you know?
Gonna say early 2025, and that's about it. That's all I got for now.
All right, keep your secrets, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll keep my secret. My client will answer no further questions on this matter.
Okay. Very keen. Very, very keen. But there is another Australian connection. You recorded a split with A Night in Texas a few years ago.
Yes, we did.
That's that's kind of cool. How did that happen?
So our guitarist Colton, he's like one of our main writers. He was talking with one of the boys in A Night in Texas,
Hmm.
and he's like, "Why don't we just make a split EP?" And they actually just eventually got around to it, and the timing worked for both of us. We just got it done.
That's it.
Um, yeah, it was a fun experience for the most part. It's nice working with those boys.
You still in touch with them?
I believe so. Me, not personally, but I believe Colton is.
Yeah, cool. Is there another Australian band? Because look, Australians are taking over the world right now. If you haven't noticed, we got
Yes,
Die Art, North Lane. We're sending them out. Parkway are probably one of the biggest metal bands in the world right now. We're sending them out everywhere to just mark territory. If you haven't noticed, is there any of the Australian bands that you'd love to work with or tour with? I know you recently did Die Art. Those guys are good dudes.
We've worked with Art. We've worked with To the Grave. Um, a band that I would love to tour with would be Barbaroussa.
From Brizzy, up this way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I would love to tour with them.
sick.
Um, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head. I'm not good at like trying to pull names out of the hat real quick here.
Just make some up.
Pick some Oscar.
Just make up some band names. Like, oh yeah, they're sick. Yeah, Barbaroussa, they're from Brizzy. They're about an hour that way. So you're going to be in Brisbane. So how'd you find out about those guys?
Actually, their vocalist did a vocal cover contest of one of our songs,
Yeah.
and like our song "Bloodthirster," and I was blown away, and I'm pretty sure he won the international or the came in second place for the international. Like, vocals. I don't know how we judged it, but I just remember being blown away by his cover, and then I got into their band. It's like, oh, okay, this is actually wild. I really enjoy this.
That's
And
cool.
I kind of draw some inspiration off his vocals.
There you go. See, we're taking over Australia. We're taking over the world.
Indeed you are.
Yeah, it's crazy. But of course, you've just recently announced a tour with Suffocation next year, which is a big one. Uh,
Yes, we do.
New record may be happening. You, well, it is. Yep. Is that what you? Yeah, yeah. You can say it, right? You definitely confirmed new record before. You
Yes,
can talk about,
yes,
but you can't
confirmed.
talk about it anymore. Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that. What else is on the cards for 2025?
Lots of tours. Yes, so we have Australia, Turkey, Greece, Europe, then potential other North American tour, and then a whole bunch of European music festivals for the summer,
Massive.
and American music festivals as well. I don't think any of them have been announced yet, so I'm just gonna.
Okay. See, I keep
That's
trying
it.
to fish for the big stuff, and then you're like,
Oh yeah, we're cooking in the kitchen. We got lots going on.
it's exciting, man. It's exciting. We can't wait to fucking party with you down here in February.
Yeah, come say hi. We don't bite. I
Yeah,
mean, we
man.
could.
But brother, in the meantime, enjoy the rest of the tour. I hope you have a good time,
Yes.
and we will see you very soon.
Yes. See you very soon. Take care, man.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother. Take care.